He drove his vehicle straight into a parked squad car by the roadside. Tossing his liquor bottle aside, he attempted to flee the scene but was tackled to the ground by the recovering officers. Once at the station, a search revealed no valid identification, only a strange, unexplained device. A police officer confiscated the item for the time being. Dragged into a cell by two officers, he appeared intoxicated, but the moment they left, his eyes cleared instantly. Across from him, in the opposite cell, sat his high-value target. That man, dressed in a sharp suit, had swindled $10 million from the mob. The assassin remained patient, waiting for the perfect opening. However, his cellmate had other plans, fixating on the assassin's watch and looking for a fight.
I don't give a shit.
Ignoring the provocation, the assassin waited for the device he left in the lobby to do its work. Moments later, smoke triggered the fire alarms throughout the station. He immediately neutralized the cellmate who had unwittingly provided a distraction. Realizing his life was on the line, the swindler across the hall began screaming for help, but his cries were drowned out by the blaring sirens. The assassin struck the insolent thug down and then joined the swindler in shouting for help to draw the guards in.
He's gonna die!
When a sergeant noticed the commotion and entered the cell to check on the downed man, he called for backup. Seizing the moment, the assassin snatched the sergeant's baton, knocked him unconscious, and grabbed the officer's revolver, aiming it directly at the opposite cell. The gunshot echoed through the precinct, commanding everyone's attention. He gripped the keys and moved slowly toward the swindler. But just as he slid the key into the lock, he froze. Raising his hands slowly, he found himself cornered and arrested on the spot by the precinct's elite female officer. As he began mapping out a counter strategy in his head, backup arrived. He dropped the gun and handcuffed himself to the cell bars. His skills weren't what they used to be, but he hadn't realized that the organization had already dispatched a second, far more deranged assassin to the precinct, a double insurance policy in case he failed. At the front desk, an officer was just beginning to think the man holding balloons looked remarkably like a fugitive in the system. The next second, the man pulled out a handgun. Using the receptionist's equipment to call for a medical emergency, he whipped off his hat and assumed the role of the desk clerk. He herded the arriving officers together and took them all down with a surprise attack from behind. He then returned to the computer to hunt for the cell block's access code. Inside the cells, the two men heard the gunfire and realized the situation had turned lethal. The swindler, however, likely had no idea that the assassin across from him went by a notorious nickname, the Fallen One. Now, the crazed assassin has launched his final assault on the precinct's holding cells.